Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we'll learn how to make this very easy Jamaican flag. You won't find an easier pattern, so stay tuned if you'd like to learn how to make this pattern that you can basically use to do anything you want to add a Jamaican flag to. Alright, before we go any further guys, don't forget to thumbs up the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the post notification bell so you will know whenever I upload a new video. So let's get into today's video. The flag is made up of these 5 parts that you're looking at now. So we have 4 triangles and an X. So let's get into it. So my starting chain gave me a flag of 7.5 by 7.5 inches. So you can chain to the desired length. I did 6 inches, which is roughly 23 chains. So we'll start with a slip knot and a chain of 23. The turning chain counts as a stitch. So now we're gonna count 2 chains, skip those 2 chains and put 1 single crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook, and in each chain across mark the first single crochet, which is your turning chain, and then place 1 single crochet in each chain across. To place 1 single crochet in each chain until you get to the end of the chain, however long you decided to make your chain. My 6-inch chain gave me a flag that's 7.5 inches wide. Alright, so the next step is to chain 1, turn your work, and place 1 single crochet in the 2nd stitch, and you're going to mark your first single crochet stitch that you made. Place 1 single crochet in each stitch until 2 stitches are left in your row. At the end of the row, we're going to reduce our stitches by single crocheting 2 stitches together. So that's 1 single crochet in each stitch up until 2 stitches are left in the row. You're going to single crochet 2 together. So now 2 stitches are left in my row. I'm going to insert my hook in the first stitch, pull up the yarn, insert my hook in the next stitch, it's kind of difficult to do at the end, but insert your yarn in the next stitch, insert your hook in the next stitch, pull up the yarn, and pull through all 3 loops. So that's how you single crochet 2 together. Then you're going to do the next row, repeat the same pattern, chain 1, turn, single crochet in the 2nd stitch of the row. Remember to mark your first stitch so you don't skip it when you're crocheting. 1 single crochet in each stitch across the row until you get to the end, and you have your last 2 stitches. You're going to single crochet 2 together again, and so that's what we'll continue with until there is just 1 stitch left, and then you'll have a triangle. So one single crochet in each stitch across the row, single crochet the last two together. So yes guys, that's a repeat pattern that will give us the triangular shape that we need for the 4 sides. So you're going to make a total of 4, 2 using your green, 2 using your black, and then of course we'll make the X using the yellow yarn. So repeat this pattern until you have 1 stitch left in the row, and that will be the end of the triangle. Alright, so I'm just speeding up this section, and I'll meet you when I'm almost finished with my triangle. Just continue the repeat pattern, and I'll meet you back when I'm almost done. Alright, so I have about 4 stitches left, and I was going to stop when I had 2 stitches initially. So I filmed this video and ended with 2 stitches, but then when I thought about it, I actually went back and single crochet those last 2 stitches together. So don't stop at 2 stitches, guys. Stop when you have just 1 left. So when you have 2 stitches left, just single crochet those 2 together. So after you have made your 4 triangles, you're going to measure, line them up, measure across to see how long your X needs to be, because it's time to make the X. Mine needs to be approximately 8 inches. So now we're going to get our yellow yarn and start making our X. So you're going to start with a chain that's as long as you need it to be. Mine is 8 inches, which is approximately 37 chains. So you're going to make a chain of 37 or however long you need it to be. And we're going to make the first diagonal. So we are going to make the chain as long as you need it to be, and then you're going to single crochet in the second stitch from the hook and place 1 single crochet in each stitch down to the end of your chain. So 1 single crochet in each stitch until you get to the end of your chain. So I'm almost at the end of my chain. At the end, I am going to chain 1 and turn my work, single crochet in the first stitch and in each stitch across. And we're going to do this for 3 rows. You can decide how many rows you need to do based on the size of the flag you're making. But for a flag that's a size 7.5 by 7.5, you only need about 3 rows if you're using the same size hook that I'm using. If you're making a bigger flag than I have made, for each increase by 1 inch, so say for instance you're making a flag that's 8.5 inches wide, you could do 2 additional rows of single crochet for this diagonal section of the flag. So increase the size of the diagonal if you're increasing the size of the flag. So continue with 1 single crochet in each stitch until you get to the end of your row. I'm coming up to the end of my second row here. At the end of the row, remember, single crochet in the last stitch, and then you chain 1, turn your work, and repeat the steps all over again, and you make as many rows as I had suggested based on the size of your flag. So chain 1, turn 1 single crochet in each stitch, and this would be my third and final row based on the size flag that I'm making. So I'll meet you back when I'm finished with this row here. I'm at the end of my row. I'm going to chain 1 and fasten off my yarn, but this is what it looks like at the end of 3 rows. So chain 1 and cut a yarn and fasten off, and this is what your first diagonal for your X should look like when you're finished with your 3 rows. So ensure you're on the right side or front side of your work, and you're going to count your stitches and find the middle stitch. Then you're going to mark the stitch that is to the right of the middle stitch, and that's where you're going to rejoin your yarn. So we're going to make the second diagonal, which would be the first foot of the X. So you're going to make a chain that is half the size of the first diagonal. All right, so mine was 8 inches, so this chain would be 4 inches. So chain to the desired length. I did a total of 18 chains. That gave me 4 inches. So now you're going to single crochet in the first chain and in each remaining chain going back towards the first diagonal. Crochet in each stitch until you get back to the first diagonal or the end of this row. So 1 single crochet in each stitch until you get back to the end of the row. Then you are going to slip stitch into the join and slip stitch into the next 2 stitches of the first diagonal. So slip stitch into the join, slip stitch in the join, and slip stitch in the next 2 stitches on the first diagonal. Then you are going to turn your work and place 1 single crochet in the first stitch and continue with 1 single crochet until you get to the end of the row. So you're making the second row on this second diagonal that we're working on. one single crochet in each stitch until you get to the end of your row. And I will need 3 rows, so there's one more row to be made after this one. One single crochet, chain 1 and turn, one single crochet in the first stitch, one single crochet in each stitch until I get back to where I started on my first diagonal. Alright, so now we slip stitch in the next available stitch on the diagonal, chain 1 and fasten off. Alright, so this is what your work should be looking like after you have finished your second diagonal, which is the first foot of the X. And now you're going to make the other one, which would be across from that one you just made. So let's get started on the next diagonal, which will be the final one. So same procedure, count your stitches until you get to the middle stitch, and you are going to mark the stitch that's to the right of your middle stitch, and that's where you'll rejoin your mark your middle stitch and rejoin your yarn in the stitch to the right of the middle stitch. Repeat the same process as you did for the diagonal that we just completed. So rejoin your yarn to the right of the middle stitch. Make the same number of chains you did before, which I did 18 chains. Which is half the length of my first diagonal, 4 inches. Single crochet in the second stitch and in each stitch down the chain until you get back to where the diagonals intersect. One single crochet in each stitch until you get back to where the diagonals meet. Then you're going to slip stitch where you had joined your yarn in the first place and slip stitch in the next 2 stitches on that first diagonal. 1, 2, turn your work, place 1 single crochet in the first single crochet and 1 single crochet in each stitch along the row, still working on your third and final diagonal. So guys, repeat the process until you have completed that diagonal, and I'll meet you back right there. So this is what your X will be looking like when you're finished making your 3 diagonals. So the next step now would be to join these 5 parts together, your X and your 4 triangles. So So the process to join them together is fairly simple. We'll be doing what is called the invisible join, which is by weaving through the outer loops, right? So we'll be needing our darning needle for that step. You'll be using a darning needle. You're gonna need a long enough size yarn. Weave it through, string it through your darning needle, and then we'll be joining the parts together. So let me just show you how. So ensure you're working on the wrong side or back side of your work. So put them together, go through the outer loop of one side and the outer loop of the other side. All right, so when you hold the two pieces together, you will see the outer loops, right? So the loop that is farthest away from you and the loop that is closest to you, those are the two loops you're going to go under. So those would be the two outer loops. So basically you're going through the front loop of the side that is closest to you, and you're going through the back loop of the other side that is away from you, right? So weave the yarn through the back and through the front, or the two outer loops, and that will give you an invisible join. It's kind of a tedious process. To make it easier, you could have single crocheted around your triangles, so it would be easier for you to find the loops. But since I didn't do that, then it's a more intricate process for me. But it's still easy. But as I said, to make it easier for you, you can single crochet around your triangles, so it's easier for you to find the loop that you need to find. Otherwise, you can just go through the part that is farthest away from you, right? So that's what I'm doing here, and I just showed you that it's quite invisible. You're not seeing the join. So you have to pull the yarn tight to ensure that you're not seeing where you're joined both colors together. So continue that process by going through the two outer loops, in and out, until you have joined all the pieces together. And this is what your work will be looking like after you have finished joining the first side. So you see it's invisible, you're not seeing a difference in color. So just follow that simple process to get this done. And this is what it looks like after joining two triangles to my X, and I have the other two remaining. So you see the back, it's pretty neat. Pretty neat, guys. So follow these simple steps to get a very neat flag that you can use for basically anything. And here I have my final piece to join to my flag, and I'm just going to show you a little tip. What I do when I'm going to join my other piece, I don't cut my yarn. I just weave it through that yellow section to get to the other side, and then I am going to join my final section to the X. So guys, this is what your work will be looking like when you have joined all your pieces together. You have your Jamaican flag. You are going to fasten off your yarn and cut it, and you can finish right here and use it, as I said, for whatever you like, to make a shirt, to add it to a shirt, a skirt, whatever. And you can also do a single crochet border around it to make it neater, which I did eventually. But basically, you have just completed making your Jamaican flag. This is a very simple, easy to follow pattern. I'm sure it was easy for you to get done. You can do this in about an hour or less. So guys, please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for more interesting videos.